they say that some of these people on the sidewalk might call themselves sidewalk counselors, and they might try to be nice, but they are giving false information. Some might be aggressive. They give inaccurate depictions of abortion, and their goal is to shame or intimidate you.
Yeah.
And sometimes we pretend to be the real clinic escorts.
I am yours, I am yours, I am yours, send me, Lord. I am yours, I am yours, I am yours.
Welcome to the Gospel-Centered Pro-Life Podcast, a podcast designed to equip, encourage, and challenge you in pro-life ministry, and always with a focus on the gospel. Stay tuned.
I felt your passion, I've touched your heart. Use me, Lord, use me, Lord.
Welcome back to the Gospel-Centered Pro-Life Podcast. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're blessed to bring you these episodes. We hope that these episodes are a blessing to you. I do want to mention, as I try to mention, but don't mention in every episode, but probably should, our website, gospelcenteredprolife.com. That's for this podcast. And if you want to get some of the other episodes, maybe you, I don't know how you listen. People listen on YouTube because our stuff is uploaded on YouTube. People listen on Apple Podcasts, they listen on Google Podcasts and all kinds of other stuff, Spotify and all of that. But that website is a central location for all of our episodes. So if you want to search other episodes that we've done, maybe subjects that you're interested in, my guess is we've probably done an episode about whatever subject you're thinking of, or we've done an episode that includes stuff about that particular subject. If not, we always encourage you guys to reach out and just give us some suggestions. We just did a podcast episode from a suggestion from a listener about dealing with babies that have fetal abnormalities and how to answer those issues and that sort of thing. So we'd love to hear from you guys. I'll give you guys our email addresses at the end of this. But let's jump into this episode. What are we talking about, Vicki?
We're talking about, it's kind of a fun one, what Planned Parenthood is telling clients about us as sidewalk counselors. And I do want to remind all of our listeners what we often say, that when we're on the sidewalk, we try to keep to the three main talking points, what God says about the baby, resources, and humanity of the baby. And that is true, and that is where the bulk of our discussion with the women at the abortion center should center on those three main areas. However, they are being told lies by Planned Parenthood about us. They're being told many things about us. This article I found it. It is an official document put out by Planned Parenthood. And it is called 5 Ways to Help You Deal with Anti-Abortion Protesters. I read the whole article. And I think it is important sometimes for us as sidewalk counselors to counter some of these main points because the women are being told these things about us, and it really can prevent them from wanting to approach us. So I think we need to expose the darkness, expose the lies. We are called biblically to do that. I wouldn't spend my whole time on the sidewalk doing this. But I think if the Spirit moves you, there are times when exposing the lies are about what they're saying.
And it's
important.
kind of a natural thing anyway. If someone says, well, they told me not to talk to you because of this, it's very natural for us to say, well, they're actually lying to you because they know that we have information that would dissuade you from having an abortion. So, there's nothing wrong with engaging along these lines. You just don't want your whole conversation to center around us against them sort of stuff. Also want to mention, too, that for a lot of people, Planned Parenthood is synonymous with abortion clinic, right? Planned Parenthood is abortion clinic, and we think of even when people talk about Latrobe, they talk about going out to Planned Parenthood. This Latrobe Abortion Center is not a Planned Parenthood. And as a matter of fact, some people don't know this. I've mentioned this in other episodes. In California, because that's where a lot of my focus is actually, the FPA organization, Family Planning Associates, does more abortions in California than Planned Parenthood does. So I'm saying that because this is what Planned Parenthood says, but this is what commonly every abortion center. Planned Parenthood it's the giant, it's the Goliath, and it really sets the tone for all the other abortion centers. Like they're the leader in the abortion industry movement, And so whether you're at a Planned Parenthood or whether you're at an FPA or whether you're at a privately owned abortion center or whatever, these are common ways that they view us and common things that they say to their clients that are coming in. We know that from conversations we've had with women, and also conversations we've had with abortion workers that quit. Here's the things that they tell us to tell the clients so they don't stop and talk with you guys.
Right. So it's quite long, the article, because what I did when I wrote up the article talking about this article is I would actually cut and paste portions of the actual article by Planned Parenthood, and then I put right below each segment our response.
Right.
So we're kind of going to have fun with this. So the first thing, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm going to pick some highlights from the first paragraph, is that the women are going to face vocal protesters who don't believe in your right to sexual and reproductive health services and education, and they shouldn't be allowed to keep you from the health care you need and deserve.
Yeah.
So then we can respond in many ways to this. First of all, we're not protesters, right? We are not protesters.
Right. We're not out here to protest and, to picket or whatever. Not that that's wrong. You guys, if you've watched our trainings, you know that we talk about the contrast between what we're doing and protesting. What we're doing is not protesting. We're out there proclaiming the truth. We're out there offering help and hope. We're reaching out to, if we're protesting, then so is Planned Parenthood, right? They're protesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
In their very article here, they're protesting the anti-choice protesters. They're like counter-protesting us just with this article, supposedly.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Anti-abortion, that's seen as like a pejorative against us or whatever. Right. I'm perfectly okay with being called anti-abortion. I'm perfectly okay with
that as well.
I'm also okay with being called anti-choice if the choice entails killing another person.
Okay.
Right. I'm anti-slavery. I'm anti-choice as it pertains to slavery, right?
Right.
I'm anti-sex trafficking.
Right.
I'm anti-illegal drug use, right? I'm anti a lot of stuff, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We often say we want to be known for what we're for rather than what we're against, and I get that. That's cool. I like to be known what I'm for. But also, I want to be known for what I'm against. I'm against child pornography, right? I'm against perversion. I'm against those things, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
They want to say this is kind of like this is a jab at us, but I don't care what they say.
Yep. And so we don't believe in the right to sexual and reproductive health services.
Right.
Do you think that's an accurate statement, Dan?
I mean, in a sense, if you want to call abortion sexual and reproductive health services, I'm against that. But of course, we know that abortion is not reproductive health. It's the very opposite. It counteracts reproduction, right? And of course, this idea of sexual health services and education. Am I against the entity that makes money off of false information about sex and sexual activities that they propagate in the school systems, ultimately to get people to come to their centers and get birth control and abortions from them? Yes. I'm against them educating anyone for anything.
Right.
The entity that makes literally billions of dollars off of abortions and these pseudo healthcare stuff, I'm against their education.
Yeah.
But I'm not against true education about sex, about the consequences of sex outside of marriage, right? I'm for that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So now you have it there. It's not reproductive health. And we are against their definition of reproductive health. If it means killing a baby, yes, we agree with them. We are against that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said then in the article that they are no strangers to protesters. And listen, this is a great line. They have plans in place to keep you safe and comfortable, both inside and outside of the building. So the safety of Planned Parenthood is being touted.
Yeah.
So who is it not safe for, first of all? Let's just...
Well, we know it's not safe for the unborn. Right? These babies are being killed. It is definitely not safe for the unborn. Inside that building is not a safe place for the unborn. Yeah.
But even the woman, the week I wrote this article, we saw the day I wrote this article, we saw 2 women that had to be basically carried out of the abortion center. One that literally fainted. She got to her car and fainted, passed out.
Yeah.
And they had to carry her back in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I shouldn't laugh. I'm not laughing at that. It's that
you were
I'm
laughing at the absurdity.
The laughability of them calling this that they have plans to keep the women safe.
Yeah. And also, they mention here they have security guards and or escorts on hand who are trained to protect you.
Right.
If you've ever seen any of the activities of these, quote, escorts, especially the ones here in Charlotte, but I've seen it across the nation, of these, quote, again, air quote, escorts, that they're protecting anyone. I mean, they're banging drums, cowbells, they're saying lewd things, perverse things. Those people are not out there to protect the patients. They're out there to stroke their own egos. They're out there to cover up a lot of times their own sin, right? They're numbing their own conscience to what they did in their past. Many of these people are post-abortive themselves. And listen, these people, these escorts, for the most part, are not out there for the men and the women that they supposedly serve. They're out there for themselves.
Right.
And for Planned Parenthood to pretend that these people are helpful is an absurdity.
Or trained.
Trained to do what?
These are some of them. Most of them are high school or young college kids on summer break that think this is fun to stand, and they spend a lot of time on TikTok at that while they're standing there.
Yeah, it's absurd. So the Latrobe escorts out here do some training periodically on Saturdays. They'll have a group of people out there. And I always like to go up to the group. They'll have them like in a circle, and it is, like you said, just a bunch of college students that are, they feel like they're social justice warriors or whatever. Yeah. And I just go over to the group and said, whatever she's telling you, I'll save you a lot of trouble. Just act like a jerk to us, and you're trained. Just act like you've always wanted to act against the people that you disagree with, and you're good to go, fully trained.
And then, sadly, that is pretty accurate. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Then it says here are 5 things to help you deal with protesters. So they're giving 5 pointers. Okay, these are great. So, first of all, know that the protesters are single-minded and want to take away your freedom.
Yeah.
So that's what we're out there doing.
Yeah. I mean, I actually am single-minded in a sense. I'm okay with being single-minded.
But what are we single-minded about?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm single-minded about the fact that there's a God that we're all accountable to.
Amen.
Right? We'll all stand before him and give an account. So I'm single-minded on that.
Yeah.
As far as the idea, I mean, the notion is that we're single-minded, we're just about the baby, that old kind of pro-abortion mantra that we don't care, we're pro-birth or whatever. This is an absurd lie.
But not pro anything else, just the birth.
And then, we're just pro-birth.
Then we wash our hands and then we're done.
It's an absurd lie. We know that that's not true. We're not just single-minded as it pertains to the baby. We want what's best for the mother and for the baby. And we know that what's best for that mother is not that she kill her child. And as far as taking away their freedom, I mean, do I want people to... do I want the freedom to kill other people taken away from certain individuals? Yes, I do. Yeah. Like you could turn this around 150 years ago. These anti-slavery abolitionists, they want to take away your freedom. And that's the same language that they use. They want to take, hey, you people in the South, you plantation owners, you need people to work your fields. And these abolitionists, these people that want to do away with slavery, they want to take away your freedom. Yeah. Right? Your freedom to do what? To own other people as property.
Yeah. And that's the
I want to take that freedom away.
They don't end the phrase, take away the freedom. Well, what freedom? Your freedom to kill your own child. Yeah. And yes, we agree with that statement. We do want to take away that freedom. And
that's where the similarities are. When people poo-poo the idea, pro-abortion people do poo-poo the idea of us equating slavery and abortion. Why do we do that? It's because essentially the premise is the same. There are certain human beings that we have the right to treat like property. Right. With your property, what can you do? Yeah. Well, you can sell it, you can keep it, you can throw it away, you can do what you want. It's your property, right? That's what happened with American slavery. They were your property. You can do whatever you want to with them, right? Yeah. No one can take that freedom away from you.
That's right.
In the same way, an unborn child, for that mother, it's her property, according to these people, and she can do what she wants to. She has the freedom to do what she wants to. We, as a society, have to stand for human life as having an intrinsic value, that you just can't buy and sell or throw away human life. It has to be protected and valued.
Amen. By the way, they call this the killing of an unborn child. They call it health care. And I just think it's always wise to be sure to point out health care is designed to save lives, not to murder them.
Right.
So health care is just not a true statement. This is not health care. Okay, then they go on to say don't engage. That's their number 2 tip for the women coming. They say that some of these people on the sidewalk might call themselves sidewalk counselors, and they might try to be nice, but they are giving false information. Some might be aggressive. They give inaccurate depictions of abortion, and their goal is to shame or intimidate you. Yeah. And sometimes we pretend to be the real clinic escorts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, whatever. I can't speak to what other people are doing around the nation. Are there aggressive people that are more aggressive than what we would train folks to be? Sure.
Well,
sure
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Are there people that use bullhorns and signs and flyers featuring inaccurate depictions of abortion? I mean, possibly, but I've put this off on our pro-aborts here, our people who stand for abortion, if you want to call it that. And because they said we give out inaccurate information as far as our brochures. So I've given it to several of them. Please circle in this brochure any of the information that's inaccurate.
Yep.
And then show me what is corresponding information that is accurate.
Yeah.
And I've never had one take me up on that. They've always just said things like, you say abortion causes breast cancer. You know, it's kind of these other things. It really has nothing to do. Like our brochure doesn't even talk about that.
Yeah. Although in my opinion, it could, but it does not.
Right. Yeah. We could certainly get into that, and I would certainly be more than willing to have a conversation.
Right.
But they throw out these other things that are just like, I mean, all they are is just rabbit trails on the facts. I've given you a brochure. I've said, take a pen to it and show me what's inaccurate, and I will change because I want to be accurate, right? We have a vested interest in being accurate. You can't get away with giving false information anymore.
Yeah. People can look it up. That's what I'll often say. Just look up any one of these facts. Yeah. And I have had some come back to me and say, oh, my bad. You're right. Brainwaves are detectable at 6 weeks because they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
The thing is, they don't believe it. They've been told lies by the people that surround them.
Yeah.
And they just accept as true what they have never researched for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we would never want to give out inaccurate information on purpose. But if we're giving out inaccurate information, then please, Planned Parenthood, tell me what that information that we're giving out that's inaccurate is, and we'll change it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would also like to point out that there are people that are lying out there. They're usually the people who are supporting abortion. One of the things I hear all the time from them as the mothers approach in their cars or whatever, don't talk to them. They have a deadly disease. First of all, we're filled with contagion, they tell them. Then they tell them everything we say is a lie, that we don't have a real nurse. We have a mobile ultrasound unit at our facility here sent out by Help Monroe Pregnancy Center. They say that's not a real medical clinic. We don't have a real nurse. We have a fake nurse. So anyway, they are lying. Yeah. They are telling lies about us, and we definitely need to counteract that.
Yeah,
and talk about who the real liar is.
Right. I mean, think about it. Who is making money off of the situation?
Exactly.
It's not us.
Yeah.
We're not asking these women. And I actually will say that. I'll say, listen, who stands to gain? I'm not asking you for anything. I'm offering things to you for free.
Yeah.
Is Planned Parenthood doing that?
Right.
Because we know, and this is a point really to help these women to see, we know that there's a price tag associated with everything Planned Parenthood does, right? Even the pregnancy tests and all the other things that they do, there's some price tag that's associated with that.
Yeah.
So who has a vested interest in getting you to go with them more so than anyone else? It's Planned Parenthood. They're making billions of dollars off of this stuff.
We lose resources.
Yeah.
Gladly, we lose resources as women, as we help women,
Yeah.
we are happy to help them and to use our resources to help them. And that's the opposite of what Planned Parenthood is profiting off of the death of baby. So the next one that they warn the people coming to Planned Parenthood, know their tactics and beware.
Beware of our tactics.
Because sometimes we try to persuade them to visit our vans or mobile clinics in quotation marks, because mobile clinics they think are fake.
Right.
And they'll claim to offer free ultrasounds, pregnancy tests, and counseling. But this article by Planned Parenthood says it's a ruse. They are deliberately trying to trick us into listening to disinformation and often religious propaganda.
Yeah.
And that we don't provide the full range of medical care, unlike Planned Parenthood. Okay, Planned Parenthood does not.
I mean, is this really?
It's so ludicrous. They for example, they do not provide mammograms. My reading was not a single one provides a single mammogram.
Yeah.
They do manual breast exams, but not a mammogram. They don't. They are mostly abortion, birth control, and now helping people to transition into another
hormone
gender.
therapy.
Correct. So anyway, so while it is true we hate abortion, we do not trick women. And I think we have to keep saying we do not. One of the first things I say, my name is Vicki. I'm with Love Life, a ministry that is here to provide hope and help so that you don't need to feel that abortion is your only choice.
Yeah.
There's nothing fraudulent. There's no attempt to trick them into thinking I am part of them. That's the last thing I would want to be.
Right.
Is a part of them. So
I mean, we're on a regular basis in every conversation trying to contrast us with the abortion center, not trying to pretend to be the abortion clinic for sure.
Right.
Now, are there organizations that do that stuff? Could be. Are there pregnancy centers that pretend to be abortion centers and things like that? There certainly are. And I'm not going to get into the morality of that, but that's not what we do. And that's not, I don't know any sidewalk counselor that pretends to be a part of Planned Parenthood or whatever they're trying to say that we're pretending to be. But this idea that they don't offer the full range of stuff, I'm just going to tell you, like, the pregnancy centers that I know that I'm associated with offer far more stuff than Planned Parenthood does.
Right.
I mean,
it's life-affirming as opposed to life-destroying, so it's different stuff that is offered. And if it's not offered through the Pregnancy Resource Center itself, they have a huge network of resources, as does our ministry.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
that every area that woman needs addressed is going to be addressed.
Yeah. I mean, I think about Help Pregnancy Center, who's our partner here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
An amazing pregnancy center that has a prenatal clinic connected to their pregnancy center that sees the women for free through all 9 months of pregnancy. That's amazing. And there are plenty of other places that do that across the nation.
Right. And I don't want to ignore what they say about that we're going to force them into religion. I will tell you right up front, that would be blasphemous for us to force someone to claim Jesus as Lord in order for them to receive services from us. We don't do that. We are against any kind of forcing in any kind of spiritual decision. But we are very upfront. The reason we do what we do is because we love the Lord.
Yeah.
And I am not ashamed of that at all. It is what motivates not only us, but many charitable organizations because they love the Lord. Okay, so the next one, they say, block them out. They are telling these parents as they drive in, block those protesters out. And I love how they tell them to do it. Summon your inner rock star and wear sunglasses and a jacket or sweatshirt with the hood pulled up to help avoid eye contact. And then they give several suggestions about other ways that they can manage to summon that inner rock star and avoid hearing what we have to say. So it's interesting that the so-called pro-choice group is giving some very significant instructions in how to limit the choice for life.
Yeah.
That they will not hear the choice for life.
If our stuff is so invalid, if the information that we have is such misinformation, why in the world would you want to shield people from it? You could just reaffirm the fact that you're right and we're wrong by showing how ridiculous our information is.
Yeah. And to that point, last week, maybe it was this week, I kind of lose track of my days, a woman chose life, and the people who support abortion told her, don't listen to them, they lie. And they said, just pull in to the abortion center, and the woman told them to leave her alone.
Yeah.
And she was still actually considering the abortion.
Yeah.
But when I asked her why she did that, she said, because I really hated the way they talked about you and to me and to you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great that they could see the difference. This woman who was still actually abortion minded, but saw that difference, that who the people that she really needed to block out was them.
Sometimes you wonder, I wonder, don't these people have self-awareness? Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's a grave issue, I think, in our modern society, is that people don't have self-awareness. It's kind of like, this is a funny analogy, but you ever watch like American Idol or?
Oh, I used to love it.
Yeah. You ever been like in the first stages of it where people are auditioning and they can't sing at all? Yeah. They think that they can sing. Like,
they have not had good friends.
They have not had good friends, and they don't really have self-awareness.
Yes.
And so you wonder, like Planned Parenthood, these escorts, the way they come across, they're trying to legitimize, at least that's what they say, they're trying to legitimize abortion as health care and the abortion center as a legitimate health care facility. And yet they're, clanging cowbells or,
blowing
yelling
horns,
at the women
dancing,
that are walking in.
Mooning us.
Yeah, it's like, it's absurd. Is it effective? Sometimes it's effective in getting people not to engage with us, but it makes, I'll tell you this, it's in the long run going to come back and bite them for sure, and it has.
Yeah.
But those places like Latrobe here and Planned Parenthood here are marked in these communities. Yeah. These close-knit communities like minority neighborhoods and minority communities, these places are marked in those communities as circuses, as nut houses.
Oh, it is. It is.
So,
and I think the women aren't stopping sometimes, not because Planned Parenthood has warned them as much as they're terrified. This circus going on. So the next point that they give in that article, get help from clinic escorts. If I were pulling in that place, they are the last people.
So let's go to the circus and let's get help from the clowns.
Oh man! So
they're not going to help you.
And it says that they may use umbrellas or other things to shield you and to play music to help drown out protesters' voices. So they don't say what some of those other things are, but many times in the past it has been pornography. Blasted over,
play it over their sound system in their vehicle. Just the audio from pornographic movies,
dancing in very suggestive ways, using, like you said, all kinds of crazy instruments. And so, what they are shielding the women from, that word shields you. Yeah, what they are shielding the women from is the legitimate choices of life, the truth of fetal development, the truth of the effects of abortion, the truth of what God says about abortion. And so many women who choose life tell me, I heard what you all were saying, and I knew it was right. Yeah. So we need to trust that. We need, no matter how much shielding is going on from protecting these women from truth, we do have the truth. And fortunately, I think they know it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do know.
At least some of them do.
And it's intimidating to them, and they have to come up with so-called counter tactics to counteract what we're doing. What you guys are doing on the sidewalk is important. God's using it. The enemy sees it. And so when I say the enemy, I mean the devil, but the devil works through people oftentimes. Yeah. And so those who are being used by the enemy are seeing that what you guys are doing is effective. And so they're writing articles and trying to counteract as much as they can. But we know their articles, their umbrellas, their bullhorns, or whatever they try to use are not a match for the God that made the heavens and the earth. Don't
Praise
forget.
God for that truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't forget. Yeah. The Bible says, if God is for us, who can be against us? Yeah. And if you've stepped your feet out on those sidewalks and you've decided in faith you're going to speak for those that can't speak for themselves, and you're going to work on behalf of the unborn, and you're going to obey God in this area of ministry, God is on your side. Doesn't matter what Planned Parenthood or any other organization says. Doesn't matter what the pro-abortion people or the people that stand for abortion, however Vicky words it is. Doesn't matter what they say or what they do. Right. God is working on your behalf, and He's working through you on behalf of those unborn children. And so just be faithful in what He's called you to. Be encouraged. And we hope that you guys were blessed by this episode. As I said at the beginning, I will give you our email addresses. If you have suggestions for other episodes, any ways that we can encourage you, we'd love to encourage you guys. You can reach out to me, Daniel at lovelife.org. You reach her, Vicky, with a Y, at lovelife.org. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love if you guys would leave us a review, however you listen to this podcast. But until next time, God bless.
God bless you all.
Give me an outlet for love. Give me an outlet for gratitude. I know it will cost me my life, but nothing's too precious since I met you.